Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another video. Hope you guys are doing well today, and we are back for the second episode in this, where we're going to be looking at some more Covenant-specific legendaries. So we only managed to get through 4 classes last time, went a little bit ranty, do apologise for that. So we're going to try and get through a few more this time. So Mage, Harmonic Echo, damage dealt to enemies affected by Radiant Spark's vulnerability, echo to 4 nearby enemies for 25% of the damage dealt. This is interesting because this was a purely single target ability, and that kind of put a lot of people off, but it does do a lot of damage. It was viable, especially as arcane. It was very, very good, but the fact that it has some form of AoE attached to it now, maybe this is enough to actually see some play with it. I'd certainly like to try it out. I haven't tried many of these yet, so quite interesting, yeah. And directly changes what we see a Covenant ability do. So I'm not going to get very ranty in this one, but directly changes what a Covenant ability does, and therefore I really like it. That's the point of these legendaries. Takes a single target ability and turns it slightly AoE. It does something different with it. Death's Fathom. Your Fireball, Frostbolt, or Arcane Blast have a chance to grant Deathborn for 8 seconds, while in the form of a Skeleton Mage, the spell damage granted is increased by 1% for each enemy hit by your base abilities. This is really strong, and I've already heard that this is something that could become the meta legendary for a couple of different specs. Mainly Frost or Arcane. Fire doesn't actually cast Fireball that often, especially during like Burst and things like that, which is when you would want it. So it probably won't be very viable for that. But for the other 2 specs, this has already been something that's been talked about. Arcane specifically, they were loving this. And basically use the Deathborn procs as like a burst window. Excuse me. Started choking there a little bit. So yeah, quite interesting. And while it doesn't change what it does, it gives it a proc, so it does change the ability quite a lot. So, actually liking these so far. Heart of the Fae. Oh god. Shifting power can be channeled while moving. Each enemy hit by shifting power grants you 1% crit strike and haste up to 10% for 10 seconds. This is very, very strong for fire. Obviously, fire being the Night Phase spec, and shifting power being very, very strong while you're in combust windows. I'm wondering if this beats out for things like Mythic Plus, where you want to just be in the middle of mobs as fire doing this. I wonder if this is worth it, but to use, but I don't imagine it will be, and that's the sad part. Again, it's one of those legendaries that would work really well with something else. Sinful Delight, consuming Brain Freeze, Fire Blast, or Clear Cast. Yeah. Reduces Mirror Torment cooldown by 3 seconds. If Mirror... Okay, so yeah, I've already looked at this one in the past. I think this could actually be quite good for Frost. You use a lot of Brain Freeze procs, and... Mirrors of Torment's not that long of a cooldown, and it's already quite a strong ability. For Frost, it really kind of excites the rotation, so I think this could be quite good. Kyrian. Call to Arms. Weapons of Order causes forth the following to assist you for 12 seconds. Nizal for Brewmaster, Yulon for Mistweaver, and Zwen for Windwalker. Weapons of Order is already a very strong cooldown, and it's typically paired with Zwen anyway for Windwalkers, so I'm wondering if that you could have 2. If so, oh god help. But I think what makes Weapons of Order so strong is actually the fact that you use the other legendary that allows your Celestial to give you... 35% haste. I think that's what makes Weapons of Order so strong, is that you want the increased haste to get more abilities in. So, yeah, I don't know that this is going to be worth it. Bountiful Brew. Your abilities have a low chance to cast Bone Dust Brew at your target's location. Pretty cool. I've heard this is quite a strong ability anyway for AoE. I don't know. It seems to change your rotation a little bit. Certainly as Brewmaster and Windwalker when it's down. So to have that be a proc, maybe not so fun, but I don't know. I'd have to try it, and I haven't so far. Feline Harmony. I've heard this is quite good. Your ability's chance to reset Feline Stomp is doubled, so it's a 12% instead of 6% chance. Enemies hit by Feline Stomp are affected by Fey Exposure, increase your damage and healing against them by 8% for 10 seconds. So I think this could be good for both. Yeah, I think this could be good for like all of the specs, but because you can obviously make people stand in it, as Mistweaver, I think you can get some real good utility out of this. Maybe that could be something we see Mistweaver using this. Certainly interesting. I do like them. Do like it. Sinister Teachings. Fallen Order summons one additional Ox, Crane, or Tiger Adept for 24 seconds, while you have an active Adept during abilities at critical hit reduce the cooldown of Fallen Order, which is a 3-minute cooldown. So you're only going to get... You're going to get 2 Adepts. You can get 2 Adepts, which in itself is going to do quite a lot, but you're also going to be able to reduce the cooldown by critting. Now, how many times are you going to crit in 24 seconds? Even if you crit once a second, that's still, you're only going to reduce it by a minute at most. So it's still too many cooldowns. It's still a long time. No, not for me, thanks, Chef. Now, oh my god, Paladin ones. Okay, so Divine Resonance. After casting Divine Toll, you instantly cast Judgment, Holy Shock, and Avenger Shield every 5 seconds. This effect lasts 30 seconds. So you see Paddies right now, like one-shotting people with Divine Toll in PvP, and you're going to give them more Judgments. What? So, yeah, Divine Toll, instantly casting Judgment. I mean, just wow. You pop Wings, Divine Toll. Every 5 seconds, you're going to throw a Judgment at a target. It's going to hit hard. You're going to do so much damage with this. I think for PvP, this just makes Rets even more busted. I don't know how it worked with Holy Shock, whether it would just random pick a target. Avengers Shield, again, very, very nice option. Gives you a lot of burst threat and works well with other Legendaries, if we ever do get that synergy there. Oof, crazy. Vanquish's Hammer, still not worth it. Doesn't matter what this Legendary does. Still not worth it. Gains 1 charge, an additional cast of whatever is empowered. I still don't think it's worth it. Thank God Night Fae Paladins aren't a thing at the moment. They are not viable. And this doesn't change that. We don't need more supports currently in the game. Blessing of the Season's effectiveness is increased by 100% after 10 seconds. Oh, that's all of them. Wow, okay. I don't know what that means. I actually don't understand this Legendary. Is it after 10 seconds of the buff? How long does the buff last? I don't even know. Okay. Now this one's really cool, and I really like this one. So Action Knowledge duration is increased by 50%. Now I've already just heard half the people that watch this video go, what? So it'll be a 45-second duration. However, leaving the hollowed area will end the effect, and its cooldown will reduce by up to 50% proportional to its remaining duration. So I think there's going to be some meta where you like jump into a pack, do like 10 seconds of crazy damage, then hop out and get like 40% cooldown back. But yeah, that's pretty insane, to be honest. And you get a lot more uses out of it. So I think this could actually be very good. And God, I'm so glad we don't have the other synergy for this one, because that with the Hammer of the Wrath Legendary, the Mad Paragon, would be crazy. So yeah, I mean, it's a cool Legendary though. I think it could be really, really fun. So Priest, Boon of the Ascended's cooldown is reduced by 2 seconds up to 60 seconds for each stack of Boon of the Ascended consumed by Ascended Eruption. So based on the amount of spells you cast during the duration, you can reduce the cooldown. This is boring as... yeah, I mean, it's just not exciting, is it? It really, really isn't. But yeah, so, I mean, it doesn't really change it. It just gives it a reduced cooldown. This is cool. Casting Unholy Nova summons a Maldraxxi champion to aid you for X seconds. Each time an ally is healed by Unholy Transfusion, your Maldraxxi champion's healing and damage is increased by 1% up to maximum of X%. Now, there's a lot of things unclear here, whether it'll only heal or only damage, whether it's only the healing on Unholy Nova, or is this just from the perspective of like a Discipline or Holy Priest? For Shadow, is it based on ally damage, is basically what I'm saying. But I think it's pretty cool. It's a 1 minute cooldown. It turns it into quite a strong cooldown. Could be interesting. Really interesting to see that one. Now, this is the one I was talking about either in this video or the last one. Really don't like it. Bonsandi's Pact. Enter a pact with the Deathlower, calling forth a haunted mask that lingers on the target until Fae Guardians ends. Copies the benefit of the current fairy on its target. So you can reduce the cooldown of abilities, which is something that we already see, something that Disc Priests are already doing, by double the amount. That's insane. And they're already running like PI legendaries and things, so using this legendary isn't going to change much for them. I really don't like it. It's just buffing the support ideology, and I think Blizzard needs to make a decision with that, to be honest. Shadow Word Manipulation. I'm going to hope that this tooltip's incorrect. I'm going to read the description instead. Mind games last an additional 3 seconds and reverses an additional 10% damage or healing. When mind games can no longer reverse healing or damage gain, 3% crit chance. Crit strike for each second remaining. That's pretty cool. Nice for PvP, I suppose. Just having the increased duration on mind games actually is just scary. Definitely forces out something like the Dispel in PvP, but PvE, it gives you crit chance basically. Because it's going to break that, so it's going to give you quite a lot of crit chance, I think, which could be interesting for Shadow. Maybe it could be interesting. Rogue specific legendaries. I've just seen the time of this. I seem to be able to only manage 4 classes per video, so we're going to leave it here and come back for the last part in a second. Thank you for watching, guys, and catch you later. It's bye.